wonder if you'd introduce yourself a little bit. You know, I could read the introduction, but it's, you know, like whatever. Kaypacha is, I know he's studied at least 3 different, like deeply different styles of astrology, tarot. He's a yogi. I mean, you bring a lot together to create your own style. Can you talk about like what that style is and your passion before you get into, you know, what's going on coming into the Aquarian age astrologically?
You bet. Can you hear me all right? Is the sound good?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Yes. Well, I put out a weekly astrological report called Astrology for the Soul, and that is my focus. It's not so much on predicting as much as it is around evolving. So I've worked very much with Jeffrey Wolf Green, the founder of evolutionary astrology. And it is about looking at the soul journey from lifetime to lifetime. So we look at the chart, we look at the past lives, where you've been determines your soul intentions for this life. And then we look at it from a soul perspective. So when it comes to, one thing I wanted to get in there for sure is that I don't know how much astrology everyone knows that's listening, but the approach that I have is that the stars and the planets are not doing anything to us. It's not a cause and effect. It's not Newtonian physics. It's about a holographic universe where it's about synchronicities, and it is about as above, so below. So it's all a reflection. So everything I'm going to be talking about today is both outside, when I talk about Uranus and Saturn and Jupiter, but we all have this archetype of, you know, Uranus and Jupiter and Saturn inside of us also. So I'll be talking about the inside and the outside of 2021. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so just to paraphrase, if I could do so, because I'm not like an astrology king or anything like that. So what I'm understanding you saying is that it's all, we're all one universe, and we are part of the stars. It's not happening to us; we're happening with them.
In many ways, I see us as the expanding universe.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you have a new idea, a new thought, a new song, a new dance, a new creative, you are expanding the universe by bringing that into creation. Yeah.
So is it like a flow then to you? Like, I mean, the things that you and I are creating, like right now in this moment, you know, the different energies and what you're going to put forward will affect astrology. Like
Yeah.
it's a dance.
Yeah. Definitely. You know, astrology is evolving as we evolve.
Mm-hmm.
So we even have these archetypes. Like if you go back to old astrology books, you know, you'll see the sign Virgo. And it's like, okay, glasses, librarian, you know, very straight and prim and proper, and you know, always, you know,
I did get a
and like
Virgo.
now today, okay, you don't talk like that to a Virgo. Right? You know, I mean, so it's like, you know, the virgin is a woman who is complete unto herself without needing a man. It's a sign of integration, where I'm so integrated, right? I mean, it's very powerful. So you've got this powerful feminine energy instead of old act, meaning onto the heavens.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, thanks for introducing yourself. I'm going to let you go and do your thing. And I'm just like on the edge of my seat to see what you're going to tell me. There was something you said. I do want to ask one specific question, because it's like still resonating with me from a few weeks ago when we met, about that whatever is happening right now hasn't happened in how many years? Like it was like thousands and thousands.
Yes, the last time that we had this Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunction, you know, that was back in what, you know, 1894 BC. the time of Babylon. In fact, that was right around the creation, the origins of Babylon. So we may even compare a little bit of this, of this time to,
Major.
we're entering a new Babylon.
Major. Okay, that's the one question I had to ask, and now I'm going to let you guide it because I know that you've been working on exactly what you're going to bring forth. So I'll pop back in, keep an eye on the time, but I'll pop back in and say, hey, because I think you're going to get carried away with your
Okay.
passion. And so thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, Laura and Sally and Stephen and everybody that has had a hand in creating this whole event and gathering of people. Thank you very much. And yes, so astrology, what can we say? We are all evolving soul spirit beings, and all of evolution occurs through cycles. We have the cycle of the day, with the cycle of the month, the cycle of the year, and it goes on, the cycle of Jupiter and Saturn, and a life cycle is Uranus. 84 years is pretty much, attuned to the human lifespan. So we have all of these cycles, and I always liken it to a Swiss watch, where you've got, big wheels and little wheels, and they've all got teeth on them, and they're all going, and they collide and interact, and that turns the hands of the clock, right? And so the evolution occurs according to all these different cycles. And when the cycles converge, like we just spoke about, the cycle of Jupiter is every 12 years. The cycle of Saturn is every 28 to 29 years. The cycle of Pluto is every 248 years. So when we have all three, of these wheels, all three of these cycles converge, right? I look at it, it's called a conjunction. And I look at it like I even called it, it's happening here in Capricorn. I called it the boardroom. It's like basically, these spirit beings, these planets, they gather together, they sow seeds, they have a little conversation. Jupiter says to Saturn, well, I think we should do this. And Pluto says, you're going to do that. And so, they all kind of, put together this little bit of a plan, and they sow this seed. And so it's not only the beginning now of this new plan, but it is the end of a very long old cycle that has been coming to a close. And that's what I want to be talking to you about today, is how we are at the threshold. And that threshold experience is leaving behind what was normal and crossing the threshold into the unknown. So we're right at this gate. It's a portal, it's an initiation, and we want to just, understand, that is, behind and woven through all of our experiences, individually, personally, relationship wise, collectively, economically, politically, scientifically. We are all going through a initiation, and I'm going to come back to that initiation. But I think I wanted to, since I have, 90 minutes, I thought I'd go into like a whole big spiel. And what I'd like to do is I want to start off with the players. The planets are like players. I call them their psycho-spiritual functions. Okay. Mercury is just the way I think. Okay. Mars is I act. Venus is I attract. Okay. Jupiter is I expand. So we all have these, they're like these psycho-spiritual functions that, that make us function within this world. Yeah. So I'm going to be talking about the mythology. I want to go back to the very beginning. We're going to go back to the beginning because we really want to understand where we are in context. to the greater cycles of change. And in the very beginning, Uranus, now called Uranus, was one with Gaia, the earth. The sky god and the earth goddess were one. And they mated, and out of their union, out of their oneness, were born. Well, first thing that was born was what? After they created, the sky lifted. Yeah. So they came into separation. And one of their offspring was the Titan, Saturn. Saturn, Chronos, time and space. So we see Uranus as the original creator god, similar to Varuna in the Vedic traditions. And this whole creation, he created the mountains and the streams and the trees, and together with Gaia, they made the Cyclops and the 7 Titans. Okay, and then think of the Cyclops as the third eye. Let thine eye be single, the one eye. So Uranus is associated with the awakening, the opening of the third eye. He is the great creator, the experimenter. He is the future. And he brings in the new ideas and the brilliance and, just one thing, the inventor, the scientist, the genius, it's just like, talk about prolific. He's like the original, with Gaia, baby. Ow. Making beautiful, beautiful planet, beautiful world. Yeah. And one of the beautiful things he made then was Saturn. And now we get to the other side of Uranus. The other side of Uranus was that he rules lightning, okay, the nervous system. I look at Saturn as when we look at the tarot, we have Saturn is the tower, concrete, solid, earthly, physical, material, and Uranus is lightning striking the tower. So, it's like, so Uranus is like truth, fierce, rigid, extreme, intense. And he wanted to have everything his way. When you have Uranus strong in your chart, Uranus is the ruler of the sign of Aquarius. So in this rulership there's a relationship between Uranus and Aquarius. So there is this very creative side of Uranus, and then there is this very tyrant. He was a tyrant. He locked up all of his children in Tartarus, not letting his children out because he did not want to be overthrown. He was a patriarch, the original patriarch. Until finally, it was just like Gaia said, I don't want my children being locked up. So she let Saturn out. And Saturn came out with a sickle and castrated his father, Uranus. The original sky god fell, and his son took his place, and his seed fell down into the waters, and out of that seed and the waters came Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. And other seeds fell onto the earth, and up rose the 3 furies. So then we have love and fury. So you can see we're coming out of unity, right? We have, sky god, Gaia, everything as well. And then comes separation, time, space. Saturn rules time and space, the 3rd dimension. separation, I and you, right? Inside, outside, black and white, up and down, day and night, good and bad, heaven and hell, go on and on and on and on. Out of, so that, we live in this third dimensional world of polarized reality. And so Saturn, again, ruled, and he brought in time and space, which includes boundaries. And just think of the word Saturn, Saturnian, very serious. He brought form and structure. And the structure, the ego exists within time and space. Okay, so we're infinite spiritual beings that have souls that reincarnate. And when we reincarnate, we come into an ego, and the ego is to keep the body alive. That's my money, my possessions, my house, my food, so we come into time and space, we come into self, we come into a fear of death. It's the ego's job to keep the body alive so the soul can have an earthly experience. So Saturn is boundaries, laws, rules, external authority figures, government institutions, churches, corporations, religions, all the, you get it. It's another patriarchy. So we go from Uranus, the patriarch, to Saturn, the patriarch, right? And Saturn was another one. He did not want to be overthrown. This is something about patriarchs, right? You're not going to get my money. You're not going to get my property. You're not going to get, it's like, I want to live here forever, whatever, So he ate his children. He devoured his offspring. One after the other. Yeah. And it wasn't until, well, he actually married his sister, who was another Titan. It was Rhea. So it was Saturn and Rhea, and they had Hestia and Demeter, and so they had many of the Greek pantheon gods that we are aware of now, and Zeus was the last one. And finally, again, Rhea came up and said, "Stop it." So she, instead of giving Saturn, Zeus gave him a bag with a rock in it and hid Zeus. He ate the rock, and then Zeus gathered together. He freed the Titans and the Cyclops, and there was the great war in heaven, and Zeus overthrew his father. And he was another patriarch. And this time, but he was different because now he's more in the place of expansion. So Saturn is contraction and Jupiter is expansion. And he's like the principle of fertility. So, he is abundance, prosperity, opening, expansion in every which way, shape, and form, particularly consciousness. The expansion of consciousness. He's the ruler of Sagittarius. Okay, in the Vedic, they call Jupiter Guru. Yeah, so he is wisdom. So he's the great wisdom keeper. And he's foreign lands and foreign journeys and foreign ideas and philosophy and just all the great wisdom of natural law. So this Jupiter is this principle of expansion, but again, he was afraid because someone told him that he would be overthrown by was part human, part God, a demigod. And so Zeus too had a certain fear and did not want to be overthrown. And that's kind of where we could possibly leave the story, but I don't want to leave the story there because we keep going. And now what happens? What I want to say is that as above, so below, as without, so within. This works vice versa. Because some say that it was Jesus Christ, right? The Son of God, but an earthly man that overcame Zeus and the whole Greek mythology, and has created civilization for the last few thousand years. Christ was a Pisces. He brought in the Piscean age 2,000 years ago. I'm going to talk about the ages because we are also shifting now, not only from patriarchy, out of 6,500 years of patriarchy, but then out of 2,000 years of the age of Pisces. And I haven't even talked about the Kali Yuga. We have 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga. So we're at this, we're at this big, huge crossroads. I mean, Jupiter, Saturn is big, and Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto is big, but really, we have massive, the precession of the equinoxes every 26,000 years is associated with this change of Kali Yuga. Yes. So we have all kinds of, it's like, this has been foretold for so long. You can see that this is not something that's going to happen in a day, a week, a month, or a year. I'm going to get a little more into how this birthing process that we are now we're in it, but it is this great awakening is a very big, and I have to say long process. But I want to come back to this idea of what in 1977 they discover Chiron, the wounded healer, and some call him Christ consciousness. So whenever there's an unconscious aspect of humanity that we are now ready to consciously deal with, boop, they find a little planet out there. And they're finding a lot of planets now. So it's like a lot of our unconscious is, we're ready to deal with it consciously, folks. You might think you're not, but you are. And you chose to be here now anyway. So Chiron, this wounded healer. So it's like Uranus goes around every 84 years, Saturn every 29 years, Jupiter every 12 years. But Chiron goes around every 51 years. And he has to do with the hero or the heroine's journey, because he too gave up his immortality and descended into hell, or the underworld, more appropriately, and was raised up again. Like Dionysus, again, down, death, resurrection. Like Jesus, death, resurrection. Like Osiris, death, resurrection. We have this mythology goes over and over and over again, and it has to do with a stripping away into Pluto, god of the underworld, the god of death and endings and transformation of the caterpillar that becomes the butterfly. The caterpillar dies, that the butterfly is born. The seed dies, that it is born into, a plant. Yeah. So we have this whole process, and this Pluto is this underworld that deals with that process of stripping down to the essential. Whether it's DNA or the core, or it's like, let's get to the essential and then start all over in so many different ways from scratch. So we have Chiron. I'm going to be showing you the charts, and I want to just give you all these players that are in the charts today. And the last one that I want to bring forward was just discovered in 2005. Only they're arguing about exactly when she was discovered, because she is Eris, the goddess of discord. And they'll probably be discording and arguing about when she was discovered for a long time. She is the sister of Ares. But we can go back into the Egyptian mythology also and look at Sekhmet. We can go into the Vedic and look at Kali. But here we have our most recent guest in our sphere of consciousness is this powerful feminine energetic force coming up from the root chakra, like the Kundalini force that destroys. So we have the Me Too, we have the rise of, the whole movement now, the LGBTQ, going after Epstein, going after the pedophiles, going after, the rise. I just heard that the French president got fined or something for hiring appointing too many women to her board. She laughed at the event, but yes, so we have this rise, the first feminine, female vice president in the United States, this kind of thing. We can just feel all around us, especially men, can feel the rise of the women. Yes, it's very, very powerful time right now. So, and it's not just the feminine. We can look at yin and yang, Mars and Eris, okay, Mars and Venus. And we look at this as the I Ching looks at the masculine as the creative and the feminine as the receptive. Extroversion, introversion, exhale, inhale. Obviously they're equal. they're both needed. They're, positive and negative. It's just like, hello, sperm and egg. You're not going anywhere without both. So it's just like, yeah. But we can say that for the last 6,500 years, we have been in patriarchy. And it's at this point that I can even share my screen a little bit and just, share with you some of the things. The host needs to enable my screen sharing. Thank you. And so we'll just kind of go back, and I want to just kind of show you in black and white and, give you a clear idea. And I will also have this available on my website so that you can, access it at a later time. How you doing there, Monty?
Should be good. Try it now.
All right, let me see here. Yay! Where is it? Here we go.
Thank you.
And let's see. Can you see this? Full screen?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So here we have the patriarchy was the end of the matriarchy. And some say that was when men became aware that the goddesses were not creating babies out of nowhere, that they put something in and a baby came out. Hence the end of the matriarchy. That's mine. And it's marked, okay? It is a system in which men hold primary power and predominate in roles of political leadership, moral authority, social privilege, and control of property. It includes a hierarchy, like a pyramid, with those with the most money and the most influence and the most power and authority are on top. And then many people spread out below them. There's an uneven distribution of wealth, power over, suppression, and abuse of the feminine. And there's a conquest and conquer mentality in order to dominate and control the earth's resources. We can see how this has been active long back to the times of Genghis Khan, back, before, we can go all the way back, like we say, 6,500 years we can go back. And that's before writing. That's before Gilgamesh and cuneiform, before they even had writing. Okay, so this is pre, and this has, been about owning Yeah, more and more and more. Now we come into Kali Yuga more recently. Okay, it's a 5,000 year transition from 31 BC to 1899. Now, this is according to Rudolf Steiner. I just want to read this quickly to you. Kali Yuga, the Dark Age, began in the year 3101 BC. That is the year when the spiritual world began to darken, to be shut off from men. Before that time, men had direct consciousness of the spiritual worlds. After Kali Yuga had lasted for 3,100 years, there came the impulse whereby man is led once again into the spiritual world. The evolution of humanity took a great forward jump because men were able henceforth out of the ego itself to ascend again into the spiritual world. In 1899, the Dark Age Kali Yuga came to an end, having lasted for 5,000 years. We are living today at the beginning of an epoch when quite new forces and faculties will develop. Before the first half of the century has run its course, a number of people, simply through natural development, will possess unusual faculties. From the end of Kali Yuga, the year 1899 onwards, a certain faculty of etheric sight unfolds in mankind. And this will have developed in a number of people between 1930 and 1940. There will then be two possibilities. Mankind may sink more deeply still into the morass of materialism. Everything may be flooded by materialism. This awakening of etheric sight may be ignored. But if men do not experience this awakening, they will be submerged in materialism. In the course of 2,500 years, a sufficiently large number of human beings will develop etheric sight. This is the beginning of the clairvoyance that will be an added faculty of the ego. So we have this sense that I really want to point into a little bit of what's going on now, but let's just have this. So here we have, right, the patriarchy giving way, ending, closing, opening, for the suppressed feminine energy to rise again. And this not only this feminine energy can also have to do with etheric sight, the clairvoyance, the extrasensory perception, the ability to, see what I always say, make the invisible visible, make the intangible tangible, make the inaudible audible. This whole clairvoyant opening, this great awakening that we're having, okay, is, part of this energetic that is, also part of this end of the Kali Yuga, the closing of the spiritual world. So this awakening is in the enlightenment, this possibility of envisioning, seeing, penetrating into the invisible, infinite worlds of spirit. And it's not for everybody. Let's just put it that way. As he said, okay, there is also kind of a splitting off. And I found this video. I've got to share it with you. It's only a 1-minute video, so I figured I could do it. But I really do see this time period, okay, as, where am I? I just need the internet. Let's go over here. Look at this. This is part, okay, of a, this is mitosis. I want you to just watch This is us now, and we're kind of swimming around in a little bit of chaos. But as the cell prepares, as the organism wants to evolve and expand, there is a natural separation. Look at the separation that occurs here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. They're taking sides. I mean, this is just like very much the way, okay? And if we look at this expanding universe, an expanding universe is like an expanding organism, okay, that is multiplying, and there is this kind of a separation occurring, and we can kind of sense this polarization that has really taken very big hold during this time of 2020 and in recent years, but it is definitely increasing. And there is, and it's, this polarization is leading to a lot of, and it will be leading to a lot more conflict. Yes. But I want to just look at this also, this place of this opening of the higher sensitive faculties, and then those that do not awaken sinking and submerging farther down into materialism. Yes. And so I want to now just, briefly add in the evolutionary stages of the soul. Okay, I think I need to close my. Great, man. I love it. Okay, so what we have is this, okay, this separation and this polarization within this period of expansion is part of, what can I say? We have an initiation process going on, and I want to just go forward into showing you some of how this is all kind of unfolding as we go through this portal and we go through the separation. The evolutionary stages are part of evolutionary astrology. It is what Jeffrey Wolf Green brought forward, and I've developed it a little further on myself. And I want to just kind of share this screen with you. I'm hoping that now, tell me, do you see a bit of a triangle? Do you see the evolutionary stages, Monty?
Sorry, I thought I had it muted twice. Yeah, you're good. Totally.
Okay. So we all incarnate through hundreds and thousands of lifetimes. And I call it the school of planet Earth, the school of the third dimension material existence, right? And so when we come in, you see these inward arrows at the bottom, we come into this Saturn, conscious ego, physical, and we just kind of come out of another dimension, another galaxy, through the black hole, antimatter. We come in and it's like, whoa, where am I? And we look to external authority figures, political, governmental, billionaires, religious, whatever. We look to these external authorities. This is 75% of any given population is in this consensus stage. These are the people that are going to take the vaccine. Yeah, this is 3 out of 4 people Okay, these people are going to, they're watching the mainstream media. They are watching and they're looking for leadership. They want to be told what to do. They want external authority figures. Whether it's Elon Musk because of his money, or it's Trump because of his power, whatever. I mean, it's just like, so we have this, and so many people are in this stage, and this stage really works very much with Saturn, time and space, boundaries, separation, and polarization. And after a certain number of lifetimes, okay, the external authorities let you down. And, the pharmaceutical companies can't cure your cancer, and the psychology can't cure your schizophrenia, and the priest messes with your children, and everything lets you down. And you are ready to individuate. This is 1 out of 5 people on the planet. They rebel. It's ruled by Uranus, Prometheus. It's the personal unconscious. I will be my own authority. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to take a vaccine. I'm not going to stay home. This is like rebel. And you go through lifetimes, it kind of mellows out as you become more and more and more creative, right? Because internally, we tap into our creative flow until we become geniuses. Einstein, Da Vinci, Picasso, Mozart, Beethoven. I mean, just go on and on. Maybe Elon Musk, or we can get, we can get higher, higher, higher. But this is really very mental, intellectual, which is very separated, right? I am a genius. It's a lonely at the top of this pyramid. And so then finally, we have to go out of our mind and into our heart. And this is 5%. This is, this is, we move into Neptune. We move into the heart space of no boundaries, no laws, no rules, unity consciousness, the unified field theory, love, light, unity, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, meditation, nirvana, baby. Until, look at, I made little 3 arrows coming out the top. You don't have to come back. Yeah. I'm not going to go into the 3 stages existing within each of these. I just really want to point out to you, okay, that during this time, different people will be reacting to the events and the phenomena of earthly existence in different ways. And some are asleep, and some will sink into Saturn and materialism and just be polarized and in separation and, and conflict and just really at a loss, really looking for direction and needing a lot of healing, a lot of healthcare. And, healthcare as far as physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So if there's a place to be now, it's a therapist. I don't care if it's art therapy, dance therapy, massage therapy, you just name it. Make it a therapy. Yeah, and you're going to be fully occupied for these years to come. Yeah. And so then, we see this occurring, and then of course, then we have the individuated, the rebels, whether it's conspiracy theories or this, that. I wanted to read the definition of a conspiracy theory. All it really says is, right, it's an explanation of an event that involves a conspiracy by sinister and powerful actors when others are more probable. That's it. So it's probable that someone would do this, that, or the other thing, but it's possible, it's a theory that somebody else is responsible for this, that, or the other thing, right? So there's just this kind of, situation and condition, right now, particularly the individuated, are rebelling and revolting against the patriarchs, against the billionaires, against the World Economic Forum, against, the Gates Foundation, against, but it's all in this world of polarity, the white hats and the black hats. I mean, we just, break these things, into this polarized place and this individuated. So some will be rebelling, some will be conforming, some will be lifting, some will be sinking. And then but we can also move ourselves into this place of non-judgment, into this place of accepting that different souls at different stages of their evolutionary process in different lifetimes are going to believe different belief systems because they're learning particular soul lessons. And once a soul lesson is learned, then the values change. And when the values change, a new belief emerges. And they believe that for a long time until they learn what that belief has to teach them. And they shift over, and it may take numbers of lifetimes, but we want to just kind of understand, and this is, the North Node of the Moon in Gemini, which is very personal in that, it's just like, my subjective truth. And so the more that we can awaken into a place of forgiveness, into a place of compassion, into a place of tolerance for the diversity. This is what the age of Aquarius is also about. This is age of diversity. I want to bring you now into the charts themselves. Yeah, and just look a little bit at what's going on, and I want to explain some of what what you're going to see here. And that is just, if you're not familiar with astrology, then I want to hello, I want to move out of that photo. Thank you. Here we are. What we have, you can see the big number 1 over here. Yes. So this is like a clock going anti-clockwise, but a seed or springtime begins. First of all, Pisces in the 12th house and Neptune is like the infinite potential out of which all creation manifests. It's primordial chaos. And out of that emerges an evolutionary intention, an impulse. And that goes through: fire is red, earth is green, yellow is air, blue is water. And it develops through, again, fire, earth, air, water. And below the horizon, this is the horizon, this is nighttime, subjective. And then out here is social or objective. So like the full moon, right? This is like a new moon, first quarter moon. It's a 90-degree square. And then there is the full moon, 180 degrees. Socialization, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, right? Comes into the 270-degree square. It's another half moon, but it's the other half. And this is another turning point, isn't it? This is actually the solstice point that we're at now, where the sun is right now. And we can look at that a little later. But then things begin to descend. And this is very cosmic, okay? This is very impersonal. Aquarius, okay, is, like I say, outer space, divine, extraterrestrial intelligence, groups, community, the weather, Aquarius, where we step out of the conventional Saturn, the known, the familiar, and we rebel and look from the outside back. It's called the process of deconditioning, ruled by Uranus, until we come back into the closing, ending, finishing. It's called the balsamic phase prior to a new conjunction. Could be the sun and the moon, or it could be Jupiter, Saturn, or it could be Saturn, Pluto, any two planets that come together. It's called a conjunction, and it starts a new cycle. Jupiter and Saturn actually come together every, 20 years. They come together every 20 years. Okay. So, but now they're coming together in the very, very beginning of 0 degrees of Aquarius. Okay. And this was already brought up by, is it Naruna? and so we have this beginning. And I want to talk more about this beginning of this age of Aquarius. Okay, it's a very, very powerful time period. Yeah, so let's do that. What we have to say is just like the end of the patriarchy, okay, 6,500 years, well, it takes maybe 500 years. I always say pretty much from 1750 to 2250 to get out of patriarchy. To leave Kali Yuga, give it 300 years. From 1800 to 2100, we have the end of Kali Yuga. Okay, then we have this age of Aquarius. It's 2,000 years. I always say we need 100, 1950 to 2050. Okay, because you can't just draw a line out there and say Pisces stops here and Aquarius starts there. Okay, these constellations are not exactly 30 degrees anyway. So we can't really tell where, okay, the precessional equinox point is traveling exactly, when this age starts. So we have to give this a little bit of a leeway. Yeah. And so after these come the planetary cycles. Pluto goes around every 248 years. Well, the United States was founded in 1776. The United States is going to have Pluto return to where it was when it was born in 2022 for the first time. So this is a death-ending resurrection process that the United States will be going through personally. So Pluto goes around. It has a very elliptical orbit. I'm going to share my screen with where Pluto basically first came into the sign of Capricorn. 0, 0. Yes, 0 Capricorn. You may remember the great fall recession of 2008. This was Pluto coming into Capricorn. Capricorn has to do with physical, financial security. You remember it was green. It is an earth sign, kind of ruling this earth house. Okay, so Pluto. Now, I'm going to just give you these characters. Here's Jupiter. Jupiter's actually conjunct there for Pluto for a while. This is Chiron. You can remember him. He's got a little K. Looks like a key. Neptune, Poseidon with the trident. This little Neptune over there. There was a Chiron-Neptune conjunction. Uranus, Prometheus. We talked about Uranus, this original sky god. And last but not least, we found Eris. Eris goes around every 558 years. So you're not going to see Eris move very much, very fast. But just watch as I progress. Okay, you ready? Okay, here we go. So, Pluto, I think I could slow this down a little bit. So you can see Jupiter moves about a degree every year. Yeah. Oh, January of 2018. Well, I can admit you. How did we get up there? That went too fast. Okay. Ready? 9, 10. Here we have a Jupiter Uranus starting in 2011, right? But you can see now Saturn is way over here. Here we come around. See Jupiter now catching up to Saturn, coming around, coming around, coming around, 17, 18, 19, 20. And now I'm going to just back it up a little bit, right? To where we are now. Yeah. It just so happens the sun and Mercury are right here. I might put in the other planets, but I really wanted to show you, I didn't want to get too overly technical or complicated here, but 0 degrees of Aquarius. You can see that as we go through this last year of 2020, Saturn and Jupiter coming around through Pluto, all in the sign of Capricorn, which is external authorities, business, governments, control, boundaries, limitations, laws, and rules, really. And this is what we call the balsamic phase. It's the closing of Jupiter and Saturn, which are the two social planets. Jupiter and Saturn start a new social cycle every 20 years. So you can kind of just get this sense. I think I'm going to go with months instead of days here because it's taking forever. Oh, goodness. But you can see that really Pluto is death. Jupiter is expansion or a lot, right? So it was right around March that Jupiter came to its first conjunction with Pluto. And then he went forward and came retrograde back again in July. And then for the third time, just crossed over in December. So, this is really boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's been 3 strikes that we have all, really experienced. And then it moves into Aquarius. So this Saturn Jupiter is beginning this new time period, this new age. And like I say, it's a 2,000-year age that stretches from 2,000 to 4,000. We are the forebearers. We are birthing this age. But what I really want to bring forward with this, for you today through 2021 is you can see Uranus. Uranus is down here at 6 degrees of Taurus. Now, Uranus went into Taurus, okay, in 2019. And it's going to stay there until 2026. 7 years in a sign. So this is this time period of Uranus moving through Taurus. Remember, Uranus brings sudden, unpredictable changes, enlightenment, inventions, but it's also erratic and extreme and ups and downs and ins and outs. And it's in the sign of Taurus for 7 years. Taurus is our resources, whether it's the Amazon or whether it is food or whether it is money, okay? The markets, the money markets. Taurus has to do with physical, financial survival, with banks, okay, and all of our resources. Yeah. So just consider that Uranus is, shaking up, bringing in. It's time for new inventions, new ideas, new sources of income, new ways of making income, cryptocurrencies, but it's also rebellion and revolution against what? And look at the square. You see this red square that's going up here? This is Saturn and Jupiter, and this is January, And if we just kind of go here, you can kind of see for a while that, uh, Jupiter and Saturn are, in square. Here's Jupiter, boom, 6 degrees. By January 20th, we have this, Jupiter going full steam ahead. Okay, I'm going to switch it now to months. And here we'll see, okay, that Saturn goes up to 13 degrees and goes retrograde. You see that little R? That's as the Earth passes by. It looks optical illusion like they're going backwards or going retrograde, okay? So it goes back again, and you can see Uranus is at 14. You see that this is September of 2021, October of 2021, November. It's not really until late December that finally Saturn is done squaring Uranus. This is, remember, father and son. Saturn castrates Uranus. Uranus tries to lock up Saturn. Okay, one is infinite. Okay, the personal unconscious outside time and space, and the other is, this is the establishment. This is big pharma. Okay, this is the World Health Organization. This is the governments of, Russia, China, and the United States. I mean, these are the big guys, okay, that wield. Okay, this is Amazon. This is Google. This is Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, I mean, these are very powerful authorities. And here we have these rebel, coming in with, new ideas and new ways and new resources and new possibilities. I mean, this is just, the square is tension between the security and what has always worked for us in the past versus the need to go forward and the need to progress into the frontiers of the great unknown. So this is a very powerful year, this year of 2021, that we are going to be seeing, okay, the ins and the outs and the ups and the downs. And let's look at this other square that's going on. And here you can see that, I can go even a little faster here with this, because this Pluto Eris really is a very long-term cycle. And watch now, here it is, 23 degrees to 23 degrees in May of 2019. And they come together all through 20. Pluto comes up to 24. They're again at 24 through 2020. He goes back and forth. They're doing this little dance. Okay, Pluto goes all the way up to 26, but guess what? Turns around, can't get enough of Eris. And here we are, this is October of 2021. We come into the final square, okay, before, and this is exact, right? Only the computer is going to tell us that this is really happening. I mean, even in 2022, they come back to within 2 degrees, okay? But let's look at Eris and Pluto. These are very, very powerful archetypes, very powerful energies that both have to do with death, destruction, ending, finishing, completing. And I want to share with you now a little bit of what we can understand from Sekhmet. Yes, let's look at what is Sekhmet about. Okay, this is Eris, the goddess of discord in the Greek mythology. Here I kind of have written out some of what I have spoken towards, but let's look at it. She was associated with the goddesses given the title Eye of Ra. According to myth, Ra became angry because mankind was not following his laws and preserving Ma'at, justice. He decided to punish mankind by sending an aspect of his daughter, the Eye of Ra. He plucked Hathor from Uraeus on his brow and sent her to earth in the form of a lion. She became Sekhmet, the Eye of Ra, and began her rampage. The fields ran with human blood. However, Ra was not a cruel deity, and the sight of the carnage caused him to repent. He ordered her to stop, but she was in a bloodlust and would not listen. So Ra poured 7,000 jugs of beer and pomegranate juice, which stained the beer blood red, in her path. She gorged on the blood and became so drunk she slept for 3 days. When she awoke, her blood lust had dissipated and humanity was saved. In one version of the myth, Ptah is the first thing she sees on awakening, and she instantly fell in love with him. Their union, creation and destruction, created Nefertum, healing, and so reestablished Ma'at, balance and justice. Yeah. So this year of 2020, Saturn and Jupiter come to Pluto. Okay. They descend into the underworld and we go into an initiation. And now I want to talk to you about the steps of initiation, because we're in this process. This awakening process is a big, long, entailed process. And part of it then, of course, the first steps of initiation have to do with exactly that, isolation. Let us go down here a little bit. Here's some more what I already told you. This is the 3 phases of initiation. Yes? And I've put them now, I put them together here a little bit, but 2020 and 2021 is purification through isolation. And it involves a suspension of the pre-existing normal reality. The disorientation weakens the defenses and forces a confrontation with the inner shadow. The individualized ego is suppressed. We lose our identity. We sacrifice our past security. And we let go of what used to be normal. And we confront death. We enter the void. And there is grieving and loss. Yeah. I see this as still continuing on, right? Because we still have that Saturn squaring Uranus. We still have, okay, and we've just kind of gone through this portal. We've gone through this death process. We've come into this isolation. We know that the numbers, as of the time of, our gathering right now, they're still increasing. They don't really expect, okay, that the lockdown is going to lift, or, people are going to feel better, or the hospitals are going to be empty again, or whatever, until, right, 6 months, 8 months from now. You can see with the transits, okay, that this Pluto square, this Pluto in square to Eris is, Eris is the, she also had blood lust. And we look at blood. Blood is the most spiritual, physical element in the human being. So blood is a symbolic representation of our spirit. And so, yes, there is this, this feminine energy that loves, okay, this spirit, okay, and wants it to run or flow freely, or however we look at it. But, there is this time period. And maybe it's, maybe it's sunk. Maybe man was sinking into materialism, all about the stock market. Okay, all about the money, all about the power, all about the, let's conquer, 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 grab all the oil, all the Amazon wood, all the minerals. They began deep sea ocean mining to make car batteries, ripping up the bottoms of the ocean. So what comes in? This is a great reckoning. This is a great reckoning for humanity. So this awakening, it has to do also with shadow work and us being in lockdown, us being isolated, social distancing. Here's Aquarius, the sign of social. Groups, communities, associations, like-minded souls, the age of Aquarius. And what do? Saturn is separation. Saturn's in Aquarius for the next 2.5 years. This is masks. Okay, this is, sit, 2 meters apart, please. Whatever this, there is this kind of, okay, it's like we need to go in. This is letting go, okay, of my outside world, the outside job. And it's time to go inward and look at what we are projecting and look at our thoughts and our thinking, because our thoughts and our thinking are creative. They are the tools of our creation. They are the seed of our creation, is our thoughts and our thinking. And so this, being able to discipline through meditation, disciplining the mind, controlling our thoughts. And where are we, where are our thoughts wandering? Is it mainstream media? Is it the news? Is it fear? Is it, what are we dwelling on? I always say energy follows attention. What are you paying attention to? We can be opening our third eye. We can be expanding into the etheric world. We can be in that spiritual stage of evolution and stepping above, outside, and beyond. And from that place of the heart, from that place of love, we bring joy. We bring light. We bring healing. We bring inspiration. We bring meaning. Meaning. People are seeking. What is the meaning of this? What is the, why? Why me? Why now? Why this? Okay, if you really want to, move fully into the spiritual stage and the higher stages of evolution, we see that whether it's Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, I don't care who it is, you ascend till you hit the ceiling of individuality. Okay, Elon or Bill Gates or Bezos, the billion, you can only go so far alone until you turn around and you become a healer teacher and you raise up all of humanity with your books, with your light, with your love, with your presence. Okay, but it is about all of us in this age of Aquarius, rising up together. So I want to go on a little farther with this. I can see the clock is ticking on me. I knew this would happen, but I want to just kind of go on a little bit here to show you, okay, just that, how fast is this going? What we see going on here, okay, is look at these square. I mean, it's just really the type of a situation where until Watch close now. Boom. Saturn, Neptune. Okay, come together in Aries. Pluto goes into Aquarius in 2000. Let's just do years. What the hell? Get it over with. Pluto goes into Aquarius, okay, in 2023, 2024. Neptune goes into Aries shortly thereafter, right? Boom. Shortly thereafter in 2026, Uranus goes into Gemini. And look at this beautiful blue trine. Beautiful trine. Pluto trine Uranus. And look at this beautiful sextile. Oh my goodness. Uranus sextile Neptune, sextile Saturn, both of them in sextile to Pluto. Oh yeah, baby. This is what I'm saying, okay? I'm looking at really, it, as long as Uranus is going through Taurus here, we're going to have ups and downs and ins and outs in the physical, economic, material, banking worlds of, bop, 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 in healthcare. Do not imagine for a minute that the trillions of dollars that governments are giving away grows on trees or is falling from the sky. Hello. It's like this stuff is not coming out of thin air, baby. It's not like we're all going to wake up in 2021 and everything's going to be fine. I mean, I don't want to be a party pooper here, and I understand this is a party, but I have to just be, I'm responsible because like years from now, people are going to say, you know what, you said that, right? So let's look at 2021. The old identity dies through processes of purging and purification. Codes of the new order are psychically imprinted. There is a reprogramming and a reformation of a new self. Gestation of seed bearing, the new identity and purpose. Building up and strengthening of the core root power in preparation for rebirthing. This is where, so gestation, this is where I came in and, I give names to all of the years. And, the year of 2020, I called earlier. Back in 2011, I said, 2020, the year of transformation from death to resurrection. Because I saw Jupiter, Saturn coming to Pluto. Yeah. Now I see this Saturn, which wants to reform and restructure, okay, our whole, understanding, our greater intelligence. Aquarius, Saturn moving through Aquarius. Jupiter is in Aquarius for this whole year of 2021. We are going to make more discoveries, more inventions, artificial intelligence, the World Wide Web, SpaceX, you name it, okay? Genetic engineering, nanotechnology. I'll tell you what, 2021 is going to see the greatest expansion, okay, of technology that there has ever been. It's going to be 5G, but who knows, 6G could be out by the end of 2021. It's going to go bedonkers to the point where it's going to really disturb and unsettle, and it's going to unsettle governments, and it's going to unsettle, just like, okay, whoa, who's got the power here? Who's got the money? Where's the money? The power follows the money. And so it's just going to be like, who's running the show here? Is it the pharmaceutical companies or is it the government? Well, maybe they're in bed together. I mean, so there's this whole ending of the patriarchy is a challenging of not trusting those external authorities. And this is where I didn't even get into, the north node of the moon in Gemini is this need, okay, this need to like really do our own thinking, our own research, our own investigation, finding sources that you can trust. Trust is imperative. We have, very intelligent, successful doctors saying that the vaccine is going to sterilize women, and powerful, established doctors saying that it's fine and safe. We have powerful, famous doctors saying that it's altering our DNA. And we have powerful, famous doctors saying that it's not. We have powerful, famous, you can just go on and on and on and on. This is Gemini, the twins, they're just going to go. This is happening. And it's necessary for each one of us. And I will say it's to come more into self-trust, open the eyes of perception. And those eyes of perception have to do with this feeling and this intuitive, and I'm going to end with frequency. Let's just look at frequency now. And this is one thing that I have not fully researched, but I'm going to share it anyway, just because I'm an optimist. And it's really from the book, Power versus Force. The COVID-19 virus has a vibration of 5.5 hertz and dies above 25.5 hertz. For humans with a higher vibration, the viral infection is a minor irritant of short duration. Conditions that contribute to lowering our frequency: tired, fear, nervousness, tension, anger, rage, and hatred. Maintaining a high frequency raises and strengthens our immune system. The frequency of the Earth today is 27.4 hertz. However, there are places that vibrate at lower frequencies. Hospitals, prisons, subways. Drops to 20 hertz or less. For low vibration humans, the virus becomes dangerous. Look at, and they went around and they got the frequencies of these different conditions, even if you feel superior. Pride, I love it. This is just like too good, isn't it? And the higher vibration, on the other hand, look at where this generosity, gratitude, 150 hertz, baby. Ow! Let's go back. The virus dies above 25 hertz. Okay? Get yourself in gratitude for a couple of minutes every day. Have some compassion. I'm telling you, this is the connection between the spiritual world and having a spiritual life with a spiritual practice that will directly correlate to physical health, mental health, emotional health, and physical health are going to come through loving, smiling, blessing, thanking, playing, painting, singing, dancing, meditating, yoging, walking in the sun, exercising, eating the good, beautiful, delicious food, spending time in nature by the river, on the beach, in the ocean, on the mountains, saying some prayers, laughing, loving, playing, thanking, and living. Even Rudolf Steiner talked about this correlation between, Rudolf Steiner founded anthroposophy. And they said, you know what? The anthroposophists don't have to worry about this. Yeah. So, and we have to also look at this whole virus. The source of the virus, the purpose of the virus, it is altering our DNA. Viruses alter our DNA. We are being, genetically modified naturally or unnaturally, into a future human condition. And so what we want to do during 2021, like I say, is gestate. It's like a pregnancy. Okay, it's like 2020, the sperm hit the egg. Boom. But we will be birthing a new age. We will be birthing a new consciousness. And I encourage you to have patience with yourself, with your neighbors, with your lovers, in your relationships. Do not push it. And don't get frustrated and irritated and upset because some new age whoever said that it's oh yeah, this is you know, and you feel like, oh my God, I must have missed the boat. Everybody's awakening and I'm still in pain. I really, you know, part of this process is coming into touch with love, compassion. Nobody gets there alone. We're all on spaceship planet Earth together. We are moving and becoming more aware of not only planetary consciousness, but the collective unconscious. This is Pisces and Neptune, which I did not get into today. I'm sorry. There's only so much time. But we want to understand that as we break down the barriers of ego, we become more empathic. We become more sensitive. It's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to feel the pain and the separation of those in the consensus stage that are not processing, okay, all of their feelings, emotions, and psychic, you know, transformations. So it gets dumped into the collective, and then all the sensitives pick it up. So we're, you know, we're really, if you're watching this, you're probably what I call a processor. You know, we're processing the collective unconscious. Okay, you know, and it's like we're sieves and it's all getting poured through us. And the important thing is to be able to flush. You want to take it in, and if we're going to act as purifiers, just look at, feel, you know, I'm a purifier. And it's like, you know, really, I want to take in this energy, and I want to take that, you know, the dark or the negative or the shadow or whatever you want to name it or call it, right? And I want to place it. And it's just, and this is Gaia, the earth. She can hold it. She can take it. The indigenous people used to dig a hole and scream and yell and give their anger and rage back to Gaia. And here she is, the great feminine, powerful force that can hold. She holds us, she gives to us, unrelenting, to everyone equally, just like the sun. The sun and the earth, you know, shine down, rain down, you know, birth flowers, fruits, and people over and over again without a sense of separation, judgment, right and wrong. So as we move more into this place of 2021, I just want to encourage everyone to just step into a place of being consciously awake to what you are thinking, what you are paying attention to, and how your attention can be used to create a sense of gratitude, to raise your frequency using your conscious capacity to, to alter your own structure, your own makeup, rather than having it be altered by mainstream media or by some vaccine or by some this, that, or the other thing. This is really just a time of gestation. And so this year, I call it the year of initiation. Gestation in preparation for creative manifestation. the year of 2021. I want to wish you the very best through this year, through this time. May you strengthen and stay well and shed your light and your love to all of our brothers and sisters. So thank you for listening.